Diamond P Sports presents championship drag racing from the National Hot Rod Association. The 1981 US Nationals. Brought to you by Goodyear Eagle High Performance Radials, the Racing Eagles Goodyear tamed for the streets. And by Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Suzuki, the Performer. See the full line of Suzuki motorcycles at your local Suzuki dealer. Every year, a migration takes place. Racers and fans converging on the largest, most spectacular championship drag racing event ever staged, the US Nationals. Indianapolis Raceway Park jammed to overflowing with over 1,000 racers trying to write their names in the record books. The qualifying action over the past several days has left the packed grandstands in a state of shock as records and standards have fallen in every category of competition. Top Fuel Eliminator, a field of 16 cars, the quickest qualifying times in the history of drag racing, led by Gary Beck's record-tying 5.63-second elapsed time. In funny car qualifying, everyone was stunned by the times. At most events, you'll see maybe one or two of the top racers break into that magic 5-second zone. Here at the US Nationals, 6 cars qualified in less than 6 seconds. Number 1, Raymond Beadle's 5.91-second elapsed time. Pro Stock finds the story the same. More records tumbling as the nation's best racers performed with such amazing times that the 16-car field goes into the books as the quickest ever assembled. Working with me is Steve Evans, and he has another look at the frantic pace.
Dave, the big story so far in this U.S. Nationals is performance, but the kind of performance that few would have forecasted. We'll let the finish line scoreboards tell the story. The number 1 qualifier in Top Fuel Eliminator is Gary Beck. At 5.63 seconds, that ties the all-time NHRA national record. But really, the big story is the 16th qualifier, the slowest car in the field, at 5.78 seconds. That breaks a record set 5 years ago. The big story now, the question everyone is asking, is can this racetrack, after 4 days of abuse and facing a hot day today, still produce this kind of performance?
Steve, part of that question was answered earlier today in the first round of Top Fuel competition as the defending world champion, Shirley Muldowney, tangled with that number 16 qualifier, Mark Oswald, the driver for the team of Thomas Oswald and Cattleman. Shirley had experienced a great deal of difficulty in qualifying. She suffered severe engine problems on a couple of runs, but thought she had them all worked out in time for this first round race, and the engine exploded at the finish line, but she still won the race and answered our questions about the track and its performance. 5.74 seconds, very, very strong for Shirley Muldowney, but the engine exploded just as the car crossed the finish line. A ball of flame came out of the car as the oil hit the hot headers. Parts bounced down the racetrack. Shirley climbed out of the car to survey the extent of the damage. Steve Evans talked with Ron Tobler, her crew chief.
This is Ron Tobler, Shirley Muldowney's chief mechanic, and you're sitting here, you're not even hurrying to go back to the pit, so obviously you're not coming back for round 2.
No, Steve, we can't. We've got some kind of problem that's indescribable. I mean, we haven't broke this many motors in the last 3 years total, and now we break 3 here. We have some kind of problem with we just happened to get a new batch of rod bearings when we came to this race, and ever since we've been putting them in, we've had problems.
And Shirley also mentioned a faulty tool, a torque wrench.
Right, we had the faulty tool, and we found that, and we kind of thought that was our problem, but apparently it wasn't, because we put this motor together with the right wrench, and it slung 4 rods off of it, and that's just not right.
Shirley Muldowney out of competition after the first round. Another incredible story at the Nationals. And that's the way it's been for 6 long days, one incredible story after another. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland, and this history-making U.S. Nationals will continue in just a moment with the start of the second round of Top Fuel Eliminator. They come from all over the world to be a part of the U.S. Nationals and witness one of the most incredible displays of power and speed on any racetrack. We're in Top Fuel Eliminations, round number 2, and we have a pair of the finest cars in the country. The defending national champion, Terry Kapp, is in the near lane. The two-time national champion, Gary Beck, in the far lane. Let's watch as Terry Kapp does what's described as a burnout. I don't think anyone will question why do they call it a burnout. Look at the smoke just rolling off those rear tires. Tremendous amounts of heat being generated. The rubber being hot sticks to the ground better and hopefully will give Kapp the traction he needs to beat Gary Beck. But that's going to be a tough assignment. The number 1 qualifier is Beck, and we ask Kapp what's he done to try to beat him.
We've cranked it up. We're going to go for the throat this round. We normally take a quite conservative view of racing and getting back to the next round without doing too much work, but we're getting brutal with it, and it's gonna fly.
It was 1 year ago that Terry Kapp won the most prestigious title of them all, U.S. Nationals champion. For Gary Beck, he's been in that winner's circle twice, but he knows he's got a tough competitor up against Terry Kapp. Earlier, we asked him what are his plans.
We're richening the motor up a little bit to race our good pal Kapp over there, and they ran a good ET, and I'm sure they're going to remember Columbus a few months back and when they had us covered and shoot a good shot at us. It's going to be a tough race.
All the plans go by the wayside now as the full concentration of both drivers is on the Christmas tree starting device. You see some smoke starting to come out of the engine of Terry Kapp's car. That may be a problem. You don't know, though, until they apply full power to it when the tree goes green. It is Gary Beck and Terry Kapp off side by side, and it is Terry Kapp extending the lead. He cost him a motor, but he won the race. 5.82 seconds. His speed only 226 miles an hour, and you heard Kapp say they had really hopped it up, and he did everything he had to do to beat the low qualifier, Gary Beck. Here in the lights, you see the smoke coming out of the engine, and there goes the supercharger off Gary Beck's car. He again experienced engine problems. The supercharger bouncing along the side of the track. The emergency crew putting the supercharger device back on top of the engine as they now push Gary Beck's car off to the return road area. No injury to Beck or to Kapp as Kapp surveys the damage done to his engine in that big second round win over the low qualifier, Gary Beck. Our next pair of cars, Dwight Salisbury in the near lane, the number 2 qualifier. Driving for Ray Fisher. Fisher out of Riverside, California. Dwight Salisbury hails from Van Nuys. He'll be racing one of the Texas contingent in competition here. David Pace drives the Carroll Brothers car out of Dallas, Texas. Pace, coming up through the ranks over the years, is the latest in a series of fine drivers in the Carroll Brothers car. Ray Fisher, new on the drag racing scene over the past few seasons, has got one of the finest West Coast drivers at the wheel of his car. That is Dwight Salisbury. The rudimentary controls in the hands of Salisbury as he rolls into the staging beams. Both cars respond to the green light, and David Pace just pulls away. 5.86 seconds. His speed as he crossed the finish line, 250 miles an hour for David Pace, and an elated crew member as the Carroll brothers record their first ever 250 mile an hour run. The next car on the track, Connie Kalita. He will receive a bye or a single run. He was to have run Shirley Muldowney, but we saw her go out earlier with engine problems. We had a chance to talk to Connie, and we asked him, how does it feel to get the single at the expense of Shirley?
Well, I sure would like to race her. I've raced her here 3 or 4 times so far, and it's always been a good race. I've never whipped her here, but it was always close. It was within a wheel. It was a close shave race every time we've raced here at Indy.
So for Connie, he is getting the directions from his crew chief, pulling into the proper point at the starting line. He will take a single. The question is now, will he run it hard, or will this just be an easy run for him? He has his choice. Lane choice in the next round will go to the car with the lower elapsed time of the pair that are racing. So we may find Connie Kalita trying to set a good low elapsed time, pulling hard on that brake, the car launching very hard, and then up in smoke as Connie Kalita, too much power, maybe too much clutch, maybe a bit of experimentation on this single run for Connie Kalita. Right now, Steve Evans is in the pits at Shirley Muldowney's area and is talking with her.
Losing is one thing, but winning and not being able to go back into the staging lanes has got to be an even more frustrating emotion.
Never had that happen before.
How does it feel?
It doesn't feel very good. We've all worked hard, and we came here with a car very capable of winning, and we have very good pieces, and something isn't right here. We've evidently got a part that has the correct number on it, but it's the wrong part in the box, or something's wrong.
Your mechanic, Ron, said that even if he had another motor, he wouldn't put it in, that you've got to find the gremlin and stop this destruction of motors.
That's right. And Mark Danicus came over and offered one. So did Neil Marr.
To loan you a motor?
That's right. So did Dick LaHaye. But we're not ready to go racing.
But there will be another day of racing for the two-time Top Fuel World Champion, Shirley Muldowney. Here we've got the final pair of cars in this second round of eliminations in the near lane. It is Billy Williams. Williams, hailing from Torrance, California, formerly drove alcohol dragsters, but advanced to the top fuel ranks and qualified well in this program. He'll be matched against the high country racer Johnny Abbott out of Denver, Colorado. The burnouts completed for both cars, and some problems apparently with Abbott's car as the starting line official called his crew over and pointed at something in the rear of the engine. The car is running fine. Billy Williams looking over to check on Abbott as he starts to roll forward to the starting line. Williams sitting and waiting as Abbott's crew performs whatever was the problems, fixing it, and here comes Abbott. So the final pair of our Top Fuel eliminators in the second round of eliminations here at the US Nationals. The driver's concentrating on that tall device with the lights on it. That's the Christmas tree. If you leave on time, the green light stays on. If you're too early, you get a red light, you're disqualified. It's green for both drivers, and green means go for Johnny Abbott. He extends the starting line lead to a tremendous 5.70 second elapsed time. His speed, a roaring 250 miles an hour, and an elated crew. You know, drag racers are noted for their innovations in their race cars, and it obviously extends to the tow vehicles. This one's most unique. Steve Evans, give us a guided tour.
Thank you, David. In the old days, it was the cowboys chasing the stagecoach. But here at the U.S. Nationals, it's the stagecoach chasing the candy cowboy, Johnny Abbott. His tow vehicle, a motorized version of an 1870s Overland stage. Built on a four-wheel drive chassis, it'll go about 70 miles an hour. Up here where I am, there's a full complement of instruments, a stereo as you might expect, even a computerized electric musical horn. Within the air-conditioned coach, all the necessities of comfortable motoring, indirect lighting, a color television set, sheepskin seats, and should you wish to change directions or stop for refreshments, simply pick up the telephone and communicate with the driver.
One of the most popular classes in all forms of competition at any championship drag racing event is Funny Car. We're in the second round of eliminations. 8 cars remain. In the near lane, we'll be finding Dale Poldy driving for Mike Hamby, while in the far lane, it is the defending world champion Raymond Beadle from Dallas, Texas, at the wheel of the Blue Max. For Poldy, he calls California home as a traveling drag racer tours the country with this War Eagle Funny Car. You say, what makes a funny car? Well, primarily, it is the same drivetrain component, the nitro-burning engine, the transmission, rear-end configuration, very similar to the Top Fuel dragsters. The big difference is the driver and all of those components encased in a fiberglass body that is a replica of a late model car. For Beadle and Poldy, they each won in the first round, advancing here to round number 2. The Blue Max, for 2 years in a row, has been the world champion. For Dale Poldy, he broke into the 5s in qualifying, and it is Raymond Beadle off the line first, and he is continuing to march to the finish line. 5.92 seconds, and the speed 249.30 miles an hour, the fastest anyone has ever run in a funny car. And he's got a new national record, Raymond Beadle, at over 249 miles an hour in the Blue Max, as he roundly defeats Dale Poldy here in the second round of elimination.